Wow. Anthony Joshua says he still wants to fight Deontay Wilder after losing to Usyk. Man, we're going to talk about all that in this video. Stay tuned. Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys do me a favor and throw a like on this video. When you guys hit the like button, it goes a long way to show and notify others that the content is fire. Now, YouTube analytics says that 41% of you guys watching my channel have not yet subscribed. So make sure you hit the link and subscribe if you enjoy the content. All things boxing, some UFC. Let's get into it. Now, I made a video about Anthony Joshua. They're saying he has some eye trauma and he just lost to Oleksandr Usyk. He says he wants a rematch, but he also talked about fighting Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my God. Or fighting Tyson Fury. Listen, I'm gonna be straight up in this video like I always am. Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, has a lot, and I do mean a lot, of yes men in or around his corner. I think he has a lot of people that, since he's the A-lister, he's the breadwinner, he's the star, they're willing to say and kind of go with the flow and go with the programming. And I don't know if anybody really checks him and decides like to go against the grain and say, hey man, you're tripping. You know, maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you shouldn't do this. Very weird, in my opinion, for Joshua to be talking about Wilder. But let's get right into the quote. So you guys have it. I have it up for you guys. So this is a shot from the Usyk fight. You looks like he's in bad shape. He has a lot of puffiness in his eye. Many reports came out, said that he may possibly have orbital damage. I've heard other reports suggesting that it was just swollen bad from getting caught with several punches and having no defense for it and head movement. But either way, this is a pretty concerning picture, considering the fact that he was fighting a guy moving up. You know, it kind of makes you wonder, had he fought a guy like Deontay Wilder, even when they're undefeated, how's he going to beat or withstand and stand up to Wilder's type of power if you're getting blasted by a 6'2.5", 6'3" Usyk? Yeah, he's crafty and he, you know, gets some good angles and slip shots and stuff like that. But Wilder is super awkward and he hits a million times harder. So this is what Anthony Joshua said post-fight. It's kind of shocking, but hey, this is what he decided to go with. Says the road to undisputed and all that stuff is good. As I said, I'll fight Tyson Fury. I'll fight Wilder without the belts. The belts are fun. It's great. It's legacy. But with or without the belts, I'll fight whoever. The road to undisputed is nice to have that title. It's nice to have and nice title to chase. But would you still watch it without the belts? That's the main thing. Is if you got two competitive fights in the ring from UK soil, or fighters in the ring from UK soil, that'll just be toe to toe. Again, I think it's imperative at this point that somebody from Joshua's team step in and get your fighter. And I posted this. I said, Alexa, play Jay-Z featuring Too Short. It was all good just a week ago. Joshua says he will fight Fury or Wilder without the belts. What was said previously, ESPN, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, Top Rank, Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, they all lied to you. They all lied and said that Undisputed was definitely for sure happening next. You had Eddie Hearn. He says, I've never been this far in any negotiations for it not to happen. Well, as they say, there's a first time for everything, because guess what? This undisputed fight was capped. They're not fighting. And even if they do fight, it was all good just a week ago. What is he now saying? I'll still fight Fury. I'll still fight Wilder, but it'll be without the belts. I mean, that changes the whole need and necessity and reasoning behind the fight. Like, yeah, that's cool, a fight with no belts, but Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, this is exactly what happens when you play God in boxing. What I mean is, by playing God, you try to create and set the board how you want it, and you feel that no matter what we do, we'll play it safe and we'll do this and we'll make all these moves. But boxing doesn't work like that. In boxing, you can't just set the board up how you want. Upsets happen. To me, the Usyk fight and the Ruiz fight, these aren't even upsets. That's what people call them. So that's the only reason I'm saying that. But you can't manipulate the board and think you can control everything that happens in boxing, because at the end of the day, you can't. Some fighters aren't good enough to beat the option in front of them. Now, again, this is really weird for Joshua that he's even talking about fighting Tyson Fury or Wilder. It's bad enough that Anthony Joshua has talked about rematching Usyk. Real quick, because I want to stay focused in this video. But Usyk, if he rematches Joshua, I reckon that's going to be worse in the rematch for Anthony Joshua. From what I've seen in that fight, Anthony Joshua was lacking many things, we'll say, to the point where I would pick Usyk. I picked Usyk in the first fight, but I would easily pick Usyk in the second fight. I don't know what the commentators on DAZN were talking about. I can't vouch for what they were saying, but I did my own Boxingego watch party, and my commentary, I feel, was on point. Usyk dominated that fight. Listen, you're going to be hard-pressed to say a fighter won in a fight like Joshua Usyk when you had a person that started off great and they also finished great. Usyk clearly won most, if not all, of the first 5 rounds. Usyk clearly won the 11th round and the 12th round. So in a 12-round fight with no knockdowns and the only person being hurt is Anthony Joshua, then it's near impossible for Joshua to have won, because he gave up too many early rounds and pivotal championship rounds. He was clearly losing as well. So you would have to have given him every single middle round from a certain round for that to even mathematically work, when you gave up too many rounds up front and you lost the championship rounds. And as I said in my Boxingego watch party, the Usyk rounds were definitive. When Usyk won a round, he clearly won the round, even hurting Joshua, who was at least 20 pounds bigger and muscle bound and taller height and all that, right? The rounds that Joshua won were highly contested rounds. There was no standout rounds where Anthony Joshua blew Usyk out of the water. There was a brief period of time it looked like Usyk started to get tired. Joshua was landing, some pretty good shots, some body shots here and there, good jab, maybe a right hand that caught Usyk, stuff like that. But look at how Usyk responded. He responded like a true savant of boxing, and Joshua, he didn't look particularly good to me. And to see him lose, look at all this height he has. Look at the height advantage he has. And to see him lose, I think it's a bad look. So this is just, it sounds very bizarre that Joshua's team is not telling, like, I hate when fighters do this. You just lost bad. You have a rematch clause. In my opinion, I don't think a rematch would play out any different. That's just my opinion. But the audacity of Joshua to potentially have a damaged eye, we don't know. You know, at this point, I don't know, at least, you know, if his eye is actually bothered or damaged or whatnot. So either way, your eye got beat up. You know, Usyk was catching you. Usyk was out there catching you. So at the end of the day, the audacity to go from a loss, facial damage in the fight, and then now without even winning the rematch, and your face, this was the condition of your face, and you haven't even decided, you haven't triggered the rematch clause to decide if you're actually going to rematch him, and you haven't beaten him a second time. Why is he even talking about Deontay Wilder? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Joshua, I've said it for a while, he has a lot of yes men around him. I don't even, based on how the fight played out, I don't even really like Joshua talking about a rematch with Usyk at this point. He needs to do some soul searching and probably just rest and take some time off. You know, that's my honest opinion. But even more foolish is to have lost in the fashion that you lost to. And he was taking pictures with Usyk, which I thought was goofy as well. This was miserable. This was miserable from Joshua. He didn't look, you know, to me, he didn't look good, you know. But at the end of the day, why are you talking? It's just like, I feel like maybe if fighters take beatings or get knocked out, they shouldn't do post-fight interviews because it just sounds foolish. This sounds crazy for Anthony Joshua to really be talking about Wilder. First of all, Wilder has his own fight with Tyson Fury, and we have to see the outcome of that. You know, we have to see who wins that particular one. But no matter what happens in that fight, I don't think Joshua's focus or priority should really be on the next person when you haven't even gotten past your own guy, which is Usyk. Very bizarre move. I think a new trainer would have been nice, but maybe this stuff is too late. I'll continue to talk about these different things, but I think this was a detrimental blow to Anthony Joshua and his career, and I think he has damaged, bruised ego and pride, no pun intended, but I think his ego is bruised, his pride is bruised. So he's already talking about a rematch. I would like to see him not talk about anything except for maybe the fight, and not publicly have put out statements about, oh, I want a rematch, I want 110%, I want a rematch, because you got pretty whooped in the fight, in my opinion. You got whooped. So take some time off, really think about it, and, you know, see where your head's at. Don't make an emotional decision, and then, you know, decide what you want to do. So I don't really prefer this. I don't think there's any reason for him to be talking about the next people when he hasn't even got past Usyk. Just my 2 cents. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'm out. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster.